UFC 316 matchmaking, SewageMMA.
SewageMMA.
Alright, so we did run another video of this, but the mic fucked up and everything fucked up and it was all fucked up and I'm very depressed and it's all fucked up. But round 2, let's run this shit.
Let's hope we are good right now.
Yeah, we're gonna be matchmaking after the 316. Slight recap. If you want a full recap, we released our video a couple days ago, recapping UFC 316.
Yep.
But we're gonna jump right into matchmaking. First, we got Quailin Killed. Aussie boy picked up another win, showed off his wrestling.
Great wrestling.
Skills.
Yep.
Still got good striking. He beat up the Jew guy.
Yep.
Good fight. It was a good fight. Good little scrap. And, what impressed me the most was his grappling. He upped his grappling a ton and really showcased it in this fight. Who we match-made him against was Kai Fernandez. Kai Fernandez, as you may know, just beat the shit out of Garam.
Yep.
Sadly, sad way to see Garam go. But Kai Fernandez, he doesn't look too bad in the division. Slick striking. He was really dynamic against Garam. He's got beaten by some of the other dudes in lightweight, so he does have a couple losses on his record. But I do think this is very doable for Killed.
Yeah, he could really work the wrestling here, I think.
Definitely work the wrestling.
And the
even
striking,
on the feet, yeah. Because Kai Fernandez is, he's good on the feet, but he's not fucking Thanos.
No.
The way he looked against Garam, though. Whew, that's more to attribute to Garam's age.
I'd agree, yeah. I'd say the same. Yeah.
But, Kai Fernandez defended all Garam's takedowns for the most part, but that's because it was old man Garam. I don't think he'll be able to really do as well against Quailin.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's always lovely to see another Australian prospect. I really love Australian
Aussie
fighters
boys,
in the UFC. Not so much New Zealanders, unless their name is Steve Erceg.
Yeah.
But other than that, really good fight. Looking forward to what Killed can do in the lightweight division. He's a serious prospect right now. And I'm a big fan of him.
Yep.
Moving on. Wu Ju Sang picked up a huge KO.
And we got Fernando Padilla there already.
Already there. It's whatever. Fernando Padilla, just got knocked up by Sean Woodson in his last outing. But it was not a bad outing. I guess it was. But he showcased that he was able to hang in there for Woodson for a little bit. And he's done alright in the featherweight division other than that. Wu Ju Sang, new Korean zombie entering the UFC. Got a beautiful hook KO. Face planted Surugai.
Stiff.
Jekka went out stiff, face plant. Awesome. It was like a little flick too. It was like a
phantom hook.
Yep. We matchmaked him against Padilla because Padilla, coming off a loss. I don't know. It's a step up for Wu Ju Sang. And I would say it's a step down for Padilla, but I do think he's going to get smoked in this matchup. Unfortunately, and I think it's a great fight for Wu Ju Sang.
Let's fucking see it, man. Let's see it.
Wu Ju Sang, we're gonna see if length and range could maybe give Wu Ju Sang a bit of an issue, but I really don't think it will.
Yeah.
When it's coming from Padilla.
Yeah.
And if there's so many cool fights I want Wu Ju Sang to have, I hope they make some interesting matchups for him in the future, and I think he's a dangerous prospect. The new zombie is here, man.
Yep.
All right.
Moving on.
Andreas Gustafsson made his UFC debut at UFC 316, picked up a good win on the Contender Series before that, and he really just showed that he was a fucking marauder to a fucking T, man. He called it just full retard mode, and you know what? That's exactly what it was.
That's what it was, yeah.
Overhands at range, teeing off in the clinch.
So aggressive.
Just no technique, just aggression, pure power. I loved it. He beat the fuck out of Chaos Williams at 316. And so he deserves to step up in competition. I'm going to give him Jacoby Smith. Jacoby Smith, another huge prospect that had a good win on the Contender Series, debuted, knocked out Preston Parsons.
This would be a war.
I do think Jacoby Smith would probably win this one by knockout.
Yeah.
Just on a technical standpoint, because he's a more technical boxer. I think he has more technical offensive and defensive wrestling. Although Gustafsson, he's strong. He's muscular. He's strong. This would be a fun ass fight. I know they're two prospects in the division. You don't typically like to matchmake prospects against each other because you want them both to thrive. But this way, you're going to have at least one guaranteed awesome prospect hitting the rankings.
Well, yeah, just
Jacoby Smith, I think, will probably win this by knockout, though. And get probably a ranked opponent or something after that. Yeah. Andreas Gustafsson, if he wins this, though, that would be mad impressive.
Yes.
I believe if for his path to victory would definitely be in the grappling in this fight. Maybe only if he wins, it'd be by sub, I think. But yeah, this would be a fucking barn burner.
Barn burner. Yep.
Yeah, we can move on now. Sergey Spivak, took a little bit of a loss to Waldo Cortez Acosta at 316.
Indeed.
Had a good, alright first round. After that, kind of gassed, got pieced up to the body a little bit, outboxed. It's the way it is, man.
It's the way it is.
I don't know if we can attribute that to age. I think he's just not that great. He didn't spam the hip toss like he should.
Yeah, he should have. He should have.
Disappointing, because he had a really good first round against Almeida where he hit that hip toss, got some control time on top. Albeit he got TKO'd in that fight, but whatever. So we match made him against Shamil Gaziev. Ranked 15 or 14 in the division right now. I want him to fight up. He just knocked out Thomas Peterson in the first round. And I think this is actually not too bad. I think this is a winnable matchup for Gaziev. His outing against Rosenstrike not too long ago was a little disappointing. And, I guess exhaustion really just killed him in that. So if Sergey Spivak could work the blob a little bit.
Blob fest
I could see it. I don't know if Sergey Spivak could take down Shamil consistently, though, or even once. Shamil got alright takedown defense, because he's just so big.
He is, exactly. That's what I'm thinking.
The one thing I will say, if he's held down, I think he could get held down on his back, because the thing with heavyweights is they're so heavy. They have so much belly fat, it's hard for them to stand up. And that's where Sergey Spivak thrives. Most likely Sergey Spivak would win by sub, but very winnable fight for Shamil, and I think this would be an awesome fight up in the rankings for Shamil Gaziev. And if Spivak loses this, he loses his ranking probably.
Yeah. I wouldn't even mind that at all.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, the Blob versus Polar Bear, I think that's the fight to make. It's a heavyweight matchup. There's not too many fun, exciting heavyweight matchups you can make. The Blob is just free money there, though. He's not going to be fun in the cage, but he's a fun personality outside of it. Even though he played volleyball for very, very long, which is very gay.
Volleyball team.
We can move on, though. Waldo Cortez Acosta, he's going to be fighting up in the division after that win against Sergey Spivak. And it was a solid win. He looked good. Yeah, good defense, good takedown defense.
I didn't expect an ex-baseball player to get it done.
No, ex-baseball player, man.
I didn't expect it.
And he looked kind of dynamic out there with hammer fists to the body, good body selection.
Yeah, not even bad.
Alright boxing, like I said, good takedown defense. So we match made him against Mick Parkin. I want Mick Parkin to get a comeback victory because I think this is very winnable for him. He suffered a robbery loss to Marcin Tybura.
Indeed.
The other matchup I had for Waldo Cortez was Marcin Tybura, but I think Marcin Tybura is going to be looking for something kind of different in the division. They always have some weird plans for him.
Yeah.
So I avoided it. I think Mick Parkin, he got robbed against Tybura. He really did. He might have lost the first round, but the other two, he outstruck Tybura in my personal opinion. And I think this would be a fun fight for him to come back against. So, like I said, there's not a lot of fun fights you can make in the heavyweight division, and this is just one of the few that you can make outside even the top 5. You know what I'm saying?
I think Mick Parkin wins this.
And this is the battle of the best 2 heavyweights other than fat heavyweights. I'm sorry. 2 prospects in the heavyweight division, which is gross to say. But Mick Parkin, I think he's legitimate. It's training with Tom Aspinall. He looks solid in that Tybura matchup. Who does that Tybura? But no, Tybura, he was, just KO'd, TKO'd. You're not a Denise on the ground. Yeah, it was that. Tybura is real 50-50. But, Mick Parkin, man, solid boxing, solid offensive grappling, solid defensive grappling.
Yes.
I don't know how easily he'll get Waldo Cortez Acosta to the ground, but I do see him winning and edging out in the boxing field.
Yes.
I don't think this fight would end in finish. I think this would go to decision for sure. But I got Mick Parkin, unanimous decision winning this.
Yep. Moving on.
Yep. All right, Azamat Murzakanov got murdered Brenson Ribeiro in the first round at his outing at 316. So he deserves a rank up in competition for sure.
100%.
We gave him Volkan Oezdemir. Volkan Oezdemir is an alright gatekeeper. He's coming off a loss against Carlos Oberg, and I think this would be a very fun and interesting matchup between the Baldies.
He has potential to win here.
Yeah, of course. He always has potential.
Yeah.
Azamat Murzakanov, I'll start by breaking him down.
Yeah.
Has that Fedor style, has serious pop in his hands. His offensive wrestling is very, very dangerous. I don't think anybody's going to be able to take him down. He's got that short man's... Like I said, he's got a Fedor style.
Yep.
Boxing, dude, slick, offensive boxing. True. Good defense. His kicks to the body are not bad. Mostly he beat Brenson Ribeiro with the boxing, just... hit his head, lit him up. Yep. Yeah. Oezdemir, though, he didn't look half bad in the Oberg fight. It was just Oberg was piecing him up on the back foot, chewing up his leg. That's life, man. Volkan Oezdemir, he did have a good knockout over Johnny Walker not too long ago. It's fucking Johnny Walker. Everyone lays him out in a stretcher. But I do think Azamat Murzakanov will send Volkan Oezdemir out unconscious on the canvas. Probably in this fight. I don't see this going to decision unless Volkan does well early to chew up the legs and then Murzakanov relies on takedowns. That is really the only way I see this going to decision. But I got Murzakanov by sub, knockout, head kick KO, whatever the fuck. I think he's going to be a legit contender in this division very soon. He's very dangerous even off the roids. Serious pop in his hands. And he just looked mad impressive.
Yeah, I agree. Overall.
And Oezdemir, he's technical, probably a little bit more technical than Murzakanov, but I don't know. Just on a physicality standpoint, I got Murzakanov winning.
Yeah.
All right. Joshua Van versus Brandon Royval. Got renounced recently. Cap pulled out. Injured his foot. It was pretty nasty. Sparring, just kind of checked a kick, threw a leg kick, something like that. Broke his foot, fractured it. It was bad. But Cap out, Van in. Van just picked up a huge win against Bruno Silva at UFC 316.
Round 3 TKO.
Round 3 TKO after bitching him for the first two.
Mm-hmm.
And did it mostly with his boxing. This is going to be an awesome fight, and I believe in Joshua Van's ability to rise up the rankings, and he will be fighting Pantoja soon for the belt.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, he is riding a 4-fight winning streak. 5 fights ago, he got knocked out by Charles Johnson, and by pure physicality difference. Charles Johnson, very long for the flyweight division. He's 6 foot, and he's got pop still, One of the only flyweights that has pop. And he was able to just outlength Joshua Van. Brandon Royval, very tall for the division, 5'9", 5'10", something like that. You know what I mean? So he could bring a similar style that Charles Johnson brought to the Joshua Van fight and give Van some issues. That being said, Van, those fights were all in about a year. Those 4 fights, I think, about a year and a half. It's insane. Joshua Van fights so fucking often, bro.
It's awesome.
Yeah, but still, he could make improvements to his game, and I think he has made improvements to his game since then. And I will say, brick wall takedown defense. I don't think Royval's getting him to the ground unless it's something really slick. Amazing boxing. There is no way Royval is outboxing Van on the feet. That's just not fucking happening.
Yeah, I think the only problem really is just the range. Range.
If you work calf kicks, counter struck on outrange, just outlengthed him. He's gonna give Van issues. But Van's versatile. Even he can go in for a takedown himself. We saw against Borjas.
Yep.
Borjas, he was taken down pretty easily. Every time he shot in, just slammed him right on his head.
Yeah.
I think this is a winnable fight for Van. Never count on Royval, though. He fraud checked Tatsuro Taira. So, Royval's always there. Coming off a win against Moreno as well. I think this is good. This is going to be more entertaining than the Cap fight, maybe. And I will say this: Joshua Van had a better performance against Bruno Silva than Manel Cap, in my personal opinion. and I am more excited for this fight.
Yep.
So let's go Fulcrum. Joshua Blessed Van is coming. Max Holloway of the flyweight division.
Yep.
He's coming for that fucking belt.
He is.
Own flyweight very soon.
We do.
Watch him knock out Royval with a TKO liver shot 4th round.
Indeed.
Or not, sorry, this is only three
third,
rounds.
Third round, yes.
Third round.
Third round.
I bet.
All right.
Awesome addition to the UFC 317 also.
Yep.
We can move on then.
All right.
Although I will say this, my one complaint with UFC 317, the main card is so trash.
It is trash.
Having Jonata Denise versus what was it, Justin Tafa?
Yeah, Tafa. Like, what the fuck?
It's fucking ridiculous. This is the number 1 ranked contender versus the number. Yeah, at this point the number 8th. It's not updated
Tafa?
in this.
Yeah, how is
Van
Tafa?
is number 8, but Tafa isn't even fucking ranked. Neither is Jonata Denise. They should not be on the main fucking card of 317. UFC do better. They could have done better to stack that card anyway. Because if, like, who's on the fucking main card? Moicano versus Dariush. Kapilov versus, Casa.
Yeah.
And, Allen versus Vittori, right?
Something like that, yeah. No, I don't know. Whatever.
We need more fights.
We need more.
We need better fights. Put this on the main card. Fix 317, although Topuria versus Oliveira is going to be a fucking awesome fight. I'm so excited for that.
People are underrating Charles Oliveira, I think. I mean, but I do believe that Topuria could get a...
Topuria probably most likely will.
That's what I'm saying.
Charles Oliveira, unfortunately, but we will be rooting for our boy Duke Bronx. Moving on. Vicente Luque suffered a rough loss to Kevin Holland.
Yeah.
Got subbed by his own move, Anaconda, round 2. After getting kind of fucked up on the feet, he showed that he still had some perseverance, but, got a massive hematoma, got kind of, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man.
So, he got subbed by Anaconda choke. Darce chokes, Anaconda chokes, the front chokes, that's kind of like Vicente Luque's thing. So it's very sad to see him go out like that. We match-made him against Randy Brown, but we kind of changed our minds. I think Mike Mallet is a better matchup for Vicente Luque.
And his well-being, yeah.
Yeah, his well-being. Although, Mallet just put away Radke in the first round with a left hook, so maybe it's not that much better, but Randy Brown KO'd Nicholas Dalby pretty easily, looked fucking flawless while doing it. So I definitely don't want to see that for Luque's well-being, so he doesn't get flatline KO'd. But, Mike Mallet matchup probably a little better. He probably might submit Luque. That's the thing with a Randy Brown matchup. Randy Brown doesn't have the grappling that a Mike Mallet has. And if Kevin Holland just subbed Luque, it's going to be a little rough for him. But, Luque's pretty washed. I would like to see him retire, if anything.
I saw someone match up Luque with Nicholas Dalby.
Yeah, that's not a bad fight.
Right, but I just feel like it's just...
I just don't want to give Nicholas Dalby that high of a fight.
That's
Nicholas Dalby just got KO'd by Randy Brown in his last outing.
I don't know, that's kind of what I thought.
Randy Brown, if anybody deserves a Luque out of everybody.
True.
But I would be willing to give it to Mike Mallet for his well-being.
Yeah.
And maybe give Randy Brown like a Kevin Holland or someone up further up the division.
I agree.
But yeah, very sad loss for Luque, You hate to see it. You really do hate to see it. We were rooting for Luque. I had a feeling this was gonna happen.
Yeah, no, yeah, I also did at the same. Yeah, it was kind of like a realistic pick was Kevin Holland. It's just that I was rooting for Luque, man.
Yeah, man. But
I believed he could get it done too.
But yeah, obviously, we can
we can
move on. But Kevin Holland, picked up that win with an Anaconda choke, round 2 over Vicente Luque. He latched it up, cinched it up. Luque tried to roll over, get parallel. His legs got trapped in Kevin Holland's long-ass, black-ass legs, and that's life, 45-70. Kevin Holland looks kind of locked in now. Fucked Luque up on the feet, had a good fight with Gunnar Nelson's, riding a 2-fight winning streak, which is very rare for Holland, and is now ranked at number 14 in the welterweight division once again.
Yeah.
He called out Colby Covington at after the fight, and I think that's the perfect fight to make, man. He called Colby Covington the most shit welterweight fighter right now, and I kind of agree.
This would be a good fight.
This would be an awesome fight, and I have Kevin Holland winning this.
Yeah.
The thing is with Colby, he can always pull it out, but I do see this playing very similarly to the Joaquin Buckley fight previously to Colby's last outing. Colby can always pull this out, though. He's got alright grappling, and he's got a very good chin. Very underrated. Colby has a very, very underrated chin. Not even Kamaru Usman could put him away clean.
True.
You know?
True.
But if Kevin Holland wins this, he's going to be looking at guys in the top 5, top 7, top 8. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
Like, he's going to be a contender if he wins this. Colby Covington, if he wins this, would be an amazing bounce-back win against a guy that's kind of hot right now. You know, and saying Kevin Holland is hot right now is kind of crazy because he is a 50-50 fighter, 45-70 type of fighter.
But 2 fights.
2 fights in a row, man,
yeah.
against 2 washed fighters, I will say.
That is true, yeah.
But he's making his way out. I think Colby Covington is also a washed fighter. He can take out the rankings. And out of every fight, Colby Covington is ducking a lot of people. Out of everybody in the division right now, he will accept Kevin Holland the most, I think, yeah. Because, he doesn't want any smoke with Ian Gary. He doesn't want any of that.
No.
So, I think it is time for Kevin Holland. Kevin Holland, an amazing step up, a great test for him. And I'd love to see this fight. And it'd be a good beef matchup. They're both kind of loudmouths outside of the cage. And I would love to see this fight.
There'd be some build-up, I think.
And I think it'd be somewhat entertaining.
Yeah.
A Holland fight is always going to be somewhat entertaining.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Patchy Mix, looks like C-3PO out there. Got pieced up by Mario Bautista.
Disappointing.
Gonna have to fight way down in the rankings, but I do believe in his ability to bounce back. We patched him up against Jonathan Martinez.
We had
which is our other
Rob
two
Font.
were Rob Font and Daniel Marcos, which either of those would also be very good. But I think Jonathan Martinez is the closest to Patchy Mix in style. Maybe. No, I like it.
Yeah.
That's a lie. But Jonathan Martinez would be an awesome test for Patchy Mix. This would be a good fight, and they both lost their fights very similarly in their last outing against Marcus McGee. Martinez took the first 2 rounds off, didn't really throw any leg kicks like his patented cat kicks that he's known for throwing. He didn't throw those for the first 2 rounds pretty much. But he looked really good against McGee in the third. That being said, Patchy Mix got pieced up all 3 rounds by Mario Bautista. Had his head very stiff in a straight line, no swivel. It
was very bad. He really had no movement out there at all.
No movement. He kept going for this check. I think it was a check right hook that he kept missing. Kept going for this knee up the middle. He kept missing. It was a sad performance.
He was trying too hard to be stoic and
Too
cool.
stoic, yeah.
Yeah, like
you
could see.
To keep a mean face on his. Yeah,
right.
It was just whatever.
It was a mess.
This would be a fun fight though. They might just both take the first 2 rounds off. God knows. But I would really enjoy watching this. They would match up very equally stylistically, I should say.
Yeah.
Match up very fun. They're gonna be. I think this would be a barn burner. No.
Maybe, yeah.
Maybe. I believe in Patchy. I think Patchy Mix could pull this one out definitely. But he was talking a lot of shit.
I'm the best. I'm gonna be the best bantamweight. Dude, he was.
How many?
I see
how
through
many
him.
championships? How many championship wins does this guy have? And he got Super Mario'd on.
Man.
Jonathan Martinez gonna be a good fight down for him.
Yep.
Moving on.
Mario
Bautista, a legitimate contender now in the bantamweight division, unfortunately, after he has 2 really good names on his resume with Jose Aldo and Patchy Mix. He's fucking Hitler, man. At least he didn't grapple fuck or, clench fuck up against the cage against Patchy Mix. He just kept it a somewhat dominant, striking performance, which was somewhat entertaining to, whatever.
It was whatever.
As much as the Grinch can be entertaining. I really fucking hate this guy. I hate that he's doing well. I hate that he's beating some of the guys I love. So I think it's time to murder him. King Von! King Von!
King Von!
It's Song Yudong time! Song Yudong time! Yo, Yo, brick wall takedown defense. You just beat the shit out of Henry Cejudo. Yo, I got my boy Yadong. You know, double eye poking Mario Bautista and TKO him on the ground with a legal knee. That's my boy right there. Yeah. Don't mess with the Chinese guys.
Don't mess with them, dude.
I was gonna call him a Yiga. Whew. Yiga?
Yeah.
Is that allowed?
I don't know.
Well, a Yiga? Yo, Song Yadong's my Yiga. Yeah. Yeah, that works. We're good. Oh, but he's gonna knock out Hitler in this fight, bro. I think he's got better striking than Mario Bautista. Mario Bautista obviously looked good against Patchy Mix, but who has he fought other than Patchy Mix? But he got pieced up on the feet by Jose Aldo. In my personal opinion, I think Jose Aldo very dominantly won that on the feet. Song Yadong dominantly won against Henry Cejudo on the feet and was defending all the takedowns very easily from Henry Cejudo up until the eye poke, and I think he was going to win that fight. So he
started bitching.
Anyway. Yeah. I think Henry Cejudo just found it out and took that out for you, But Mario Bautista, I don't think he's got this one. I think he's going to get bished in the striking. He's going to learn that there's levels when it comes to the striking game.
Levels.
Which I think he did learn against Jose Aldo, and that's why he relied so heavy on the clinch game up against the fence. And I don't think he's going to be able to get that off against Song Yadong as easy, because Song Yadong, I think, would have the physicality advantage over Bautista and be able to muscle him around a little bit easier than Aldo could. And like I said, brick wall takedown defense, there's no way Bautista's getting him to the ground. And I think the calf kicks are going to be a good weapon for Song Yadong here.
Indeed.
Straight punch. Dude, he's going to have a power advantage over Bautista for sure. And just like an overall technicality advantage. I do see Song Yadong rising the ranks. He's doing well at bantamweight. Yeah. Only the top guys can beat Song Yadong. Other than that, he smokes everybody.
Good fighter, man.
Got a good win against kind of a very washed Henry Cejudo, but it was a good win. Henry Cejudo was doing well in that fight, though.
Yep.
No discredit to Henry Cejudo, but this is the fight to make. Both are coming on. They both have lost to Corey Sandhagen. Both their names are on Corey Sandhagen record, I guess. Both climbing the division, both kind of in the similar spots. Just outside that title talks. And I think this would be a very cool fight.
Yep.
Moving on. Kevin Gastelum, hitting up the Taco Bell after his fight. I think he should retire, big tubby. But if he doesn't retire, Cody Brundage, I think, would be the matchup for him. Cody Brundage coming off a KO win. I forgot which card it was, but he's coming off a win in his career. And then, Kevin Gastelum, winnable fight for Kevin Gastelum, winnable fight for Cody Brundage. They're both pretty washed right now in their careers. And if you had to make a Kevin Gastelum fight, I would make this. Cody Brundage can do other shit in the division, obviously. So can Kevin Gastelum. But if just two vets, set it up, the loser can retire. I think Cody Brundage would probably take this. I say that, but maybe Kevin Gastelum could get the rest of them going. Because he is a 5'9" little blob tank thing.
He could blob it.
But Cody Brundage, he's coming off that knockout. I do believe in Cody Brundage.
Yeah.
And he got that flip over Bo Nickel. Switched him at 300. He's very inactive. Holy shit, Brundage is inactive. So is Gastelum. Man, this is just a shit stain. What I'm looking at right now.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying.
It would be entertaining. Somewhat. Yeah. I don't fucking know, man.
It's just one of those. We can move on from this. I don't really want to see it anymore. Joe Pyfer. We got Joe Pyfer, man.
Billy Bull Joe Pyfer.
Wanted him to get the finish.
Almost did.
In the first round, yep.
But, I don't know.
It's fine. It's all good.
I don't want to say he was gun shy after the first, but it seemed like he wasn't really seeking the finishes hard.
Mm-hmm.
First round, drops Kevin Gastelum bad, right? Drops him bad again, throws a head kick afterward. Head kick lands flush from Kevin Gastelum. Dominant first round for Joe Pyfer. And after that, he plays the slow man's game. It's so interesting. He was not trying to knock off Kevin Gastelum's head in the second and third. He wasn't gassed. He was still boxing him up. Kevin Gastelum tried to rally. He landed a couple 1-2s down the pipe. But Pfeiffer just took it slow. Took it way too patient. Way more patient than he needed to do. He could have blitzed him, got him out of there real easily. I think he really could have even got him out of there in the first round if he was less patient.
I agree.
I love patient Pfeiffer. Listen.
It was cool.
It was cool. But it shows me that you're still going to lose against guys like Jack Hermanson. You know?
Yeah. You need to be able to get the finish.
Mm-hmm. And I'll say he looked pretty versatile in this fight. He showed off the grappling. Obviously against Al Hassan, he dunked him on his head, subbed him with a head and arm. He looked very good in that fight. But he fucked up Gastelum in the grappling, fucked him up really bad in the feet. Landed that head kick. He was versatile. He was versatile. He was dynamic. But he just needs to look more for that. Crazy to say for Pfeiffer, because if you just watch his KO reel, it's insane.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he just needed to look for the KO more against Kevin Gastelum.
Yeah.
Because I feel like he's taking a lot of pieces of information, I don't know. It's just, it's rough. We made him up against Chris Curtis.
Barn burner, I think.
Rank up in the division. Chris Curtis just lost his ranking to Roman Kapilov, which was a close fight. He stuck in there against Kapilov.
Yeah.
I think this would be a barn burner for sure. The other fight I wanted to make was Joe Pfeiffer versus Gregory Rodriguez. I think that would be a fucking awesome fight as well.
But
for their well-being and just personal opinion, I don't want prospects to be whatever.
It's already match made too, right? Isn't it match made on 317?
Oh, yeah, Gregory Rodriguez is taking on Jack Hermanson at 317.
So
he already has a fight booked. So Chris Curtis is the odd man out in my eyes. And you know what? I think this is the perfect fight. Both boxers with solid offensive grappling and a good head kick on them. And you can mix up the kicks very well. I would lean Joe Pfeiffer in this just on a pure physicality advantage. And, yes, he has that death touch power. He really does. Chris Curtis, though, has better technical boxing. I would say maybe a little bit more. No,
I don't know.
More technical boxing, but on the ground, I would favor Joe Pfeiffer. I think Joe Pfeiffer would sub Chris Curtis on the ground most likely.
Yeah, I agree.
This fight would most likely go to decision, seeing how both their fights have been playing out recently.
Yeah.
But if it does end by finish, I would lean Joe Pfeiffer for a knockout or submission. This is going to be a fun fight nonetheless. It's going to be a fun boxing showcase from both of them. And a barn burner through and through.
Barn burner.
I want this. I think this is a logical move up for Joe Pfeiffer. Logical move down for Chris Curtis. And if Joe Pfeiffer wins this, he obviously gets another crack at the rankings.
Yes.
So we can move on, I think.
Move on.
Sean O'Malley, embarrassing loss at 316.
Got all his friends with him.
What a bitch. What a little cock. We were picking against him all this time. It was a good hate watch. O'Malley, slick inside the cage with his striking, but he looked awful in this fight, dude.
Yeah,
he looked
man.
dead awful. His footwork looked bad. And, you can attribute that to Merab's improved boxing. Merab's boxing has massively improved and was fucking up Sean O'Malley on the feet. Pressuring up to cage with offensive boxing, big hooks, big overhands, that kind of shit.
Yes.
And then just getting the takedown from there.
I do believe that Merab is he's really just an unbeatable force.
And he's getting better.
He's just getting better. But I do also think one thing that comes into play there is that O'Malley's training is just kind of he doesn't really. I don't know.
I completely agree.
It's not. That's definitely not the reason. It's just because
Merab's he's not pressured. He's not
exactly.
He doesn't get
just wanted to kind of
pushed enough maybe in training. I completely agree.
Yeah.
That being said,
he's got his friends with him. Mm-hmm. He's got a Barbie tattoo.
That being said, I would say he did better to deny the takedowns and try to get up from the positions in this fight. Because in the last fight, Merab would take entire rounds off because O'Malley would just lay on the ground, allowing it to happen.
Yep.
This time, he fought harder to get up, which ended up getting him subbed. But it was an improvement from O'Malley.
Mm-hmm.
And in that way, he did do better from the first fight.
Yeah.
But he got subbed, which crazy for Merab to get a finish. And for Merab to get a finish over you, is embarrassing.
Yeah, real.
Like, oh, that's his finish. And just to add to Merab's improvement, he usually never goes for the front chokes, never goes for chokes.
No.
But he saw it open because O'Malley was doing his due diligence to get up. Locked it up.
Locked that shit.
Definitely,
You know.
rough outing for O'Malley.
He has a lot of matchups.
So many matchups for O'Malley now that he's a contender. He was an industry plant, man. He got one win over O'Malley. Win. That shit was a fucking robbery. Fight me outside. Catch me anywhere if you disagree.
One win over Jan?
Yeah, and then instant title shot, basically. Think what happened to Umar with that win over Corey.
Yep.
Instant title shot.
Mm-hmm.
Industry plant his shit. Basically,
fuck both the industry plants.
Never got his time to fight the contenders. So he had so many contenders he can fight.
Yeah.
There's a 5-round Jan rematch, and that would be a fucking barn burner.
I would love that.
A Corey
yeah.
Sandhagen fight in the future, a Figgy fight, an Umar fight. Any of those fucking fights would be awesome. If he wanted to move up to featherweight, a Rodriguez fight, a Gene Silva fight, a Lerone Murphy fight, a Josh Emmett fight, anything would be tough for O'Malley.
A lot of stylistic.
What we chose was Umar. Why did we choose Umar? They're both coming off losses to the title, to Merab. And right now, they both don't have fights booked. Obviously, O'Malley just lost his fight. Umar, still recovering from the broken hand. I think if they do bring Umar back, it's probably going to be against Song because they already had that fight booked in the past. Then Umar got the title shot instead. But I would love to see this fight for O'Malley as a comeback fight because it is a much easier, much more approachable fight than Merab. Still a tough matchup, nonetheless.
Yes.
But compared to Sandhagen, I think he's going to be a lot more pressured forward on the feet, like more pressure heavy, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it'd be a good comeback fight for O'Malley to show off that he has improved his grappling defense in general.
Yeah.
Submissions, takedowns, everything. Grappling defense.
Mm-hmm.
Umar, I don't like giving him the number 1 ranked contender right now, coming off a loss to Merab, but it is a logical match. Making decisions since Piotr Jan, that was the other pick I would make for him. Has a fight booked against Marcus McGee.
Yep.
And Song Yadong is the only other viable option, and I think this would be a little bit more fun.
This would be
than
fun.
Song Yadong.
Yeah.
Although I think Song Yadong would bitch Umar a little bit more.
Yes.
Sean O'Malley.
Yep.
But yeah, this would be like a classic Khabib versus Conor kind of fight. Yeah, and I would really enjoy this fight probably. This would probably be 5 rounds if they do make this. I don't see this being a 3-rounder.
Nah, yeah.
Like there's 2 big names, 2 big industry plants.
Yeah.
This would be fun though. It would be fun.
Would be fun.
All right. Finally, for Merab, what can we say, man? Such a dominant performance. He finally gets a finish in his career. Man, he looks so good. He's so improved. His boxing, his submission game,
it's insane.
Everything. And even his wrestling.
Unbeatable right now.
Unbeatable right now. And didn't even need to use his cardio to win this fight. Just did it because he's a fucking marauder. Merab,
he just threw everything out there and then he got him. It's just like,
easily
I don't know.
The bantamweight goat, and even if he's just chucking random spinning back fists out there, they're fucking landing for some reason.
He's just doing shit.
His gimmick is not even a gimmick anymore.
Yeah.
He's just doing shit.
Yeah, it really is all it is now.
And there's nobody else other than Corey.
Nobody else.
I clowned on Corey a month ago for calling out his title shot after getting 1 win and an injury win over Davison Figueiredo.
Yeah.
But it was a 50-50 position, and if you know jiu-jitsu, you know if you lean up or whatever, you're going to break your leg. So it's just submission, whatever the
man.
fuck. Corey getting his shot. That's probably Dana White basically confirmed that. No, dude, the Umar rematch, dude. That's so compelling. But you know,
Yikes.
obviously, Merab's going to be a heavy favorite. Looks unbeatable.
Yeah.
You know, Corey lost to Umar.
We'll be rooting for Corey, though, and there's that one strike that we think, you know.
Yeah, there's a couple strikes.
Yeah.
There's that two. I'll break down the 3 ways I have Corey winning this fight. First fight with Sean O'Malley. Merab, in the 5th round, got hurt by a body strike. I think it was a body teep. And it had him running in the 5th round, hurt him bad. If Corey can use those and utilize those, it's going to be, I think that would work for him. The other thing is, I think a quick flying knee.
Quick flying. And Corey does that.
Known for
Knocked
that.
out Frankie Edgar. Yep.
Frankie Edgar!
People forget, man. Frankie Edgar.
I think that's going to be the way to beat Merab. And DJ brought up great points in terms of jiu-jitsu.
True.
O'Malley was trying to go around overhead. You know, the way to beat Merab is to go underneath. Where Corey shines his leg lock game, his knee bars, his ankle, you know, everything. You know what I'm saying? Fucking
toe hold.
You know, Merab. We never seen him really use. We don't know what his leg sub defense looks like.
True.
So, you know, and
no one's really ever.
And who knows? Corey could really pull that shit off. And I think he's going to be a slicker scrambler just in general than Merab. I don't see Merab being able to hold down Corey very easily.
Yeah, I think Corey could scramble up to his feet.
And he's going to have a lot better submission defense than Sean. And, like, where he doesn't have the quickness and power of Sean on the feet, he's gonna be a much better grappler.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he's going to be a little bit more dynamic with the elbows, the flying knees.
He'll place shots better.
He's going to be going in for triangle chokes, reverse triangle chokes, Darce chokes, anaconda chokes. Like, he's going to be going for subs. But where I think he's going to shine is the leg locks, trying to go underneath Merab. I think he can lock up a knee bar, an ankle lock, you know, any of those.
Yeah.
Definitely teeps to the body, focus on body strikes. Even Merab catches the legs, he can scramble out. I see Corey being a great scrambler in this fight.
Agreed.
And flying knees, man.
I
could see a reality where Merab shoots, flying knee, night out. You know what I'm saying?
Would be insane.
But if this goes 5 rounds, I do have Merab winning.
Yeah.
I don't think Merab could finish Corey, though.
No. Honestly, I think Corey has some pretty good defense.
Corey, all the finishing potential is on Corey's side for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. That being said, Merab is improving every fight. You know, boxing, takedowns,
scary
submissions. Corey looked very good in his last fight against Davis and Figueiredo, especially in the wrestling. Though.
Domination.
Those elbows from up top, bro, were brutal.
Yep.
And so who knows? Maybe obviously I think Merab will have a physicality advantage because he kills himself to cut down the bantamweight, murders himself. There's no way he can be at bantamweight for a lot longer. So I would give the physicality advantage to Merab, but there's a chance that Corey can get shit done in top mount and in dominant positions from there.
Yep.
And obviously Corey's going to have the striking advantage. We'll see how he does against Merab's aggressive boxing that he's developed ever so sweetly.
You know.
But this is going to be a good one. This is going to be a good fight.
Good fight.
Merab, he's the fucking bantamweight goat, man.
Yeah.
He's going to start lapping the division pretty soon. Because really, who else is there other than, like, oh, man, a Jan rematch, an O'Malley rematch, an Umar rematch, maybe Vinicius Oliveira. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Marcus McGee, maybe.
Patchy
Mix, if he can just get his shit together. Like, that's, you know, like, bantamweight is to the point where flyweight was not too long ago. So we'll see.
We'll see.
I think the next fight is probably gonna end up being Jan if Jan beats Marcus McGee.
Yep.
And I'm pretty much ready to wrap that up there.
Yeah. All right.
Well,
SewageMMA.
That's what our recaps were. We will just go through them all again real fast. We do this every time. And by every time, I mean we did this in the last video, and the last video had to fucking die.
Brrr.
All right, so we start off Quilene Salkill. We got him matched up against Kai Fernandez. This would be a barn burner. Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe.
Wuju Sang versus Fernando Padilla. Andreas Gustafsson versus Jacoby Smith. This actually would be a barn burner. I would love this fucking fight. Sergey Spivak versus Shamil Gaziv. Step up for Gaziv.
Yep.
I want him to win. Saucer Boy versus Mick Parkin. Comeback fight
Mick
for Parkin.
Parkin.
Mick Parkin. Azamat Mirzakhanov versus Volkan Uzumir. Step up for Mirzakhanov. Uzumir, let's see if he can keep that gatekeeper title. Joshua Van versus Brandon Royval was announced. Should be on the main card of 317. Van the Man is going to be fighting for a fucking title soon.
Let's go.
Vicente Luque versus Randy Brown. Change our minds. Let's do Mike Mallet. Kevin Holland versus Colby Covington. I think Kevin Holland's going to pull out the Dubski here. Patchy Mix for Jonathan Martinez. Comeback fight for Patchy Mix. Way down in the... Not even ranked anymore.
Let's get it done, man.
Let's get it done. Let's see if he can fix his C3PO head movement. And actually, one thing I will add to that. People say that Patchy Mix got UFC jitters. UFC jitters are like in the first round, in the first 2 minutes. You start to loosen up in a fight after the first. I don't think it was just jitters that played into that.
Agreed.
I think there was other aspects. Mario Bautista versus Song Yadong. K-Von! Hoo! I want Song Yadong to piece this man up. Oh yeah, what I call him? I call him my Yiga. Kevin Gastelum, send him to Taco Bell or Cody Brundage. Joe Pyfer move up in the rankings. I guess right outside the rankings against Chris Curtis. Logical step up in competition. I think he wins that. O'Malley versus Umar. Just a fun fight to make.
Makes sense.
They're both coming off losses to Marab for the title. Marab versus Corey. Only logical contender in the division right now. And that's pretty much it, man.
Sewage
MMA.
Strip John Jones.
Strip him,
man.
Make Diego Lopez versus Yair Rodriguez. What the fuck are you doing?
Dana White needs to start paying attention to his goddamn company. He says it's none of his business, but it's literally your business. Are you stupid, bro? He's too invested on like Zuffa boxing and power slap and shit, and
all
it's just
that shit. Yeah, I will say this: I'm very hyped for Canelo versus Crawford.
Yeah. I mean,
as like one of the biggest boxing events you can make.
It is.
And I would be willing to cover something about that, even though we are an MMA channel. Oh, also, we're going to do the predictions for Joaquin Buckley and Usman and Roundtree and Hill early. Because
vacation.
He going away.
Yeah.
And we'll do the recaps later at a later point. But it should be fun. Cards still,
Yeah.
We'll talk about them later. I think we wrap up this video by...
Let's go.
Chink. Linked it.